But the bust I'm talking about is the bust of the Epstein files, which is like, ah, it's like there's nothing there for Trump. I mean, there's a there, but the there is all the Democrats. So I guess I'll just start with Chris to kind of set the mood and then go around. But Chris, what happened to this? They got him again. I mean, it's like, oh, we got Trump this time. Not so
Well,
much. So what do you think?
they knew they didn't have Donald Trump. That's why they redacted the witness's name, Virginia.
Jeffrey,
Virginia Jeffrey.
Jeffrey,
Yeah,
Jeffrey,
Virginia.
Jeffrey. Yeah,
Right. They redacted her name because she was the one who said Donald Trump was a perfect gentleman, didn't do anything with any of the girls anywhere, anytime.
yeah,
The idea was the Democrats wanted. Here's their strategy. They want to sully and drag people's names through the mud in the court of public opinion for the sole purpose of being able to yammer about it on social media, have their marks scream about it on social media, then have them come out in droves to win
yeah,
the midterms at all costs. So it doesn't matter if they were lying. And trust me, these people that followed the Democrats over the last many 10, 15 years, they've fallen for every hoax the Democrats and the media perpetrated. They fell for the Covenant Kid hoax. They fell for the Russian collusion hoax. They fell for since Obama pleaded the fifth on Fast and Furious, nothing to see here. They fell for every bit of it because they wanted to. And
yeah.
so the idea is, hey, the Democrats know their base is going to follow everything they say. They're going to put it on social media, try to get their friends to believe it, but they're going to use this to fuel themselves to go vote in the midterms and try to steal some extra seats.
Yeah. So Pete, what do you think? I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't expect anything of it.
I'm completely on board with what Chris just said. And if you go back and look at what what the young woman Virginia said,
Jeffrey, Jeffrey.
yeah, that the only thing Trump did was Trump defended the women who were working at Mar-a-Lago. And he doesn't need to know specifics to know that there's something fishy going on, and he knew something fishy was going on, and he told Epstein, "Hey, knock it off."
Yeah.
And so there's, if you really want to look at it, there's less than nothing there. Trump was defending the women who worked at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
What more do you want of a guy? He's defending these women who are being sniped by Epstein.
Yeah. I know.
And
Blaine, what do you think? I mean, yeah, I'm
if
sorry.
I
Go
can
ahead,
just
Pete.
have one
Sorry.
thought, is if there was
Yeah.
something really hard and concrete that Trump had done, don't you think it would have come out before the election?
Years ago. Years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So Blaine, what do you think?
I got a couple of ways to go on this one. First off, I agree that if there was a there on Trump and girls on the Epstein thing, it would have been fully sought out by this point in time. There's no question about it. However, there's a couple of things that are afoot that I do think are things that we should be watchful for. One, it's not that Trump's implicated, it's that when all of the information comes out, I fully expect that we're going to find out there are just as many people in the Republican ranks that have crap all over them, and
Yeah.
possibly even folks in his own administration. In fact, I've talked to a source for certain there is one or two in his administration that have a problem here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
so,
agree.
so the point is that that's one problem that's got to be navigated, and and then the other problem, and I think this is more likely the gating issue and why we haven't seen really anything out of Pam Bondi or any start of this season of accountability. I am hearing more and more from different directions that something is afoot, something very big is afoot, and
What do you
and
mean? What do you mean?
well, in terms of kicking off this season of accountability and how does it all get done?
Yeah.
And so, what the reason that the Epstein thing got poo-pooed right out of the gate from the administration, and again, this part I need to verify, but it's logical to me, is that it's not time for that yet. Meaning, go and look at all of the Article 2 judges that are resisting and obfuscating and doing everything that they can because they're bought off with NGO money or whatever. Um, that's not the way to get this done. So hold everything back on the Epstein piece, and not until you've got a clear cut kill on a lot of these folks, by whatever means you're going to take that, whether it's through the court system or some other means, military, whatever. But it seems to be lining up that it's just not time for the Epstein piece yet. It's just not time for the J6 piece yet. And it may not even be time to address what we got to do to save Tina Peters' life, and on and
Yeah.
on and on.
Yes.
But the frustration and the counterweight, and I have said this to members of the Trump administration, that may all be well and good, and you all may have the most elegant 5D chess strategy going, and it's all just perfect as your top lawyers are grinding through this stuff. The problem is the patient could be dead by the time you come up with execution orders. In other words, the base is breaking down. The polls are going to hell in a handbasket. It's obvious that there are, whether there's some master plan or not, it's obvious there are true traitors in and around Trump right now that are hurting his credibility and hurting the agenda. Gate guards galore. You can just ask me and Tony personally about that because
Yeah.
we've been body checked several times when we're trying to get information where it needs to go. And so I think that for now, the Epstein thing is part of a much bigger mosaic. And I do think that President Trump, if he could protect folks and thread the needle, he would do it because he is a loyal person to his people, sometimes to a fault. But I think that for the good of the country, whatever's to come is to come. And there is, first off, there is no way the Epstein thing is going away. Not now, not ever.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Charlie Kirk. Look, we know we were lied to. Did you do it for a reason? Okay, fine. Tell us what the reason is. But we're on our way to a big place that every single person I've talked to in different sourcing says, "Oh no, this big stuff is on the way." And it's like, okay, well, I guess you'll get to prove that. But right, meanwhile, you're wrecking MAGA and you're wrecking America First and all the other stuff. And we see little pansies like Soy Boy Lindsey Graham and others stand up and say, "No, I'm the new face of MAGA." Mark Levin, "I'm the new face of MAGA," and on and on. And it's like this isn't what this was about.
Yeah.
So I guess we're supposed to saddle up and hold tight because the main target out of the war on cartels is not the drugs, it's the city of London. And that's
Well,
exactly what we're going after, and the British Empire. And
yeah, I
anybody
want
who
to talk
thinks
about that.
differently, you're just ill-informed. I'll
So,
stop there.
yeah. Yeah. So, no, I want to continue because you're going right into the next topic in one second. But I do want to confirm without giving anything away. So, uh, geez, how do I say this without giving something away I'm not supposed to?
Well,
What
talk around
Blaine,
it.
what Blaine is saying regarding something bigger coming, I'm getting indications is true. I think there are people within the Justice Department who are working, maybe not at the pace we'd all want, but I know they're working. And I can't tell you how exactly I know, uh, but I had a long conversation with someone on Friday, and it's someone I have never met, and there is some indications that certain attorney generals calling me and getting me fired. Maybe that's not sitting well with some people at DOJ. Is that general enough? I guess.
Yeah, makes
Yeah, that's
sense.
pretty good.
I,
That's
I
pretty
have
good.
I have something to
So
float by you gentlemen, if that's okay.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Who's a gentleman?
there we go. Well, compared to me, okay, and it's a very low bar right here. But Speaker Johnson, a while back, floated this idea that Donald Trump could have been working with intelligence on some of these people that come to Mar-a-Lago or do some weaselly things
I
like
think that's
Epstein
true.
did. Think
I think
about
it's
this.
true.
I was going to ask how possible is that, and the idea that maybe he's protecting that particular aspect in his business interests, but by not releasing the information because his
Well,
name was
Chris,
in a different way.
one attorney of one of the trafficked women said that Trump was very helpful in a deposition. He actually said, this is on record, this is on X. The attorney was asked, did Donald Trump help? Yes. Out of all the people we emailed to ask for information, he's the only one who responded. He had me come in. He gave me all the time I wanted. He gave me good leads. So, the indications are at a minimum, he helped at least one or two of the victims, and it probably sounds like more. It's very possible. So,
Yeah.
but I do want to I do want to get back to what Blaine was kind of opening the door to regarding what's really going on with some of the big muscle movements that are, I think, I don't want to say the boats being blown up are a distraction, but they kind of are, because Venezuela is simply kind of the convenient, bright, shiny object that we can all point at and say, yeah, that's bad. We should do something about it. But the badness, and I'm going to stick with Blaine on this. Blaine, the badness goes way deeper, because one of the things you and I've spoken about on the air a lot this week is the fact that hey, the British Virgin Islands, they're all the 12 possessions of the British, they're all upset about
Yeah.
what's going on
I would
in
call
the
the boats
Caribbean,
an
right?
attention getting step.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do I have your attention now?
yeah.
Ask Claudia Scheinbaum. She had a rough Saturday.
Yeah. And so to continue and expand that, so Blaine and I've talked about the fact that some of these countries, Mexico, the estimate is 40% of their economy is from the drug cartels. So that's significant. And then if you look at the Caribbean, which, people go down there all the time on cruise ships, but simply put, those cruise liners and their port calls ain't what's holding up the economy of all those countries, right, Blaine?
Right. That's exactly correct. And this is the thing about the war on the cartels. The tentacles of the cartels goes to laundering and illicit operations globally, worldwide.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if you think the city of London isn't in cahoots with the Chinese Communist Party and the World Economic Forum, I just don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
We're past that being tinfoil hat material. We're here, and the fact that the guys from London scream bloody murder at MI6, we're not going to share with you. First off, it's like, well, we don't care. That's one thing, and then the
Yeah.
other part is your protesting just indicted you. And the same thing goes for the swamp creatures of the politicians who are like, well, we should be consulted. It's like, okay, Dan Crenshaw, we'll consult with you. Maybe in a different setting, like a deposition or something like that.
Yeah, if
Well,
I can
so
jump in.
yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead, Pete. Yeah, no, go ahead. Because I'm going
If
to
I
hit
can
that
jump in,
second.
it's important for people who are listening to understand that this does not require, some sort of Fu Manchu sort of, mastermind pulling all the
No.
strings and 19 different layers of conspiracy. What you really get down to is there is just a tremendous amount of money involved in the worldwide drug trade.
Oh,
just
yeah.
for starters, and the idea, just to just put this in perspective, the idea that you have an organization like one of the cartels, and I don't remember which one, but I saw the number a couple of years, probably last year, one of the cartels was doing $40 billion worth of business a year. And if you have zero morals, right? You have zero morals and you have $1 billion in your pocket, and you walk into, parts of some of any countries on the planet, there are politicians who can be bought for a couple of $1 million. So let's just say you find some politicians who are willing to be bought for $5 million. Well, that means you walk in and you can buy 200 politicians for your $1 billion.